You might have heard of the situation surrounding Shawn Bolz, Bill Johnson, and his leadership team at Bethel. And you might have also seen the Mike Winger video, but you probably are missing a key piece in all of this, and I'll be sharing that with you in this video. Bill Johnson, Kris Vallotton, and Dann Farrelly, who are part of the Bethel leadership team, recently addressed the incident surrounding the Shawn Bolz situation with their church. And I really want to get you guys out of this place that some of you may be in the body of Christ, where you're focusing on the situation without really knowing what happened. Bill Johnson, Kris Vallotton, and Dann Farrelly recently addressed the church surrounding the Shawn Bolz situation. And it would be so easy for the church and for many of you that are in the church, in the body of Christ today, to be murmuring against Bill Johnson, his team, and others who were surrounding this situation or who may have been involved in it. And it's really important that you have tuned into this video today, because this is my first point that I want to share with you. And it is that murmuring is actually a big, big problem in the eyes of God. And this is the reason why, because even in the scriptures, as we can see accounted for, that the children of Israel murmured against Moses and murmured against Aaron. And in the eyes of God, they were actually murmuring against God. It's really, really important. You know, most of us don't know intently what happened unless it was spoken to us by those eyewitnesses in Bethel surrounding the Shawn Bolz situation. But I want to draw your attention to why murmuring is a big problem, and it's not something that any of us should be part of in the body of Christ. Now, let's go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 13. I'm going to read from verse 13 to verse 15, and this will really help us to see what murmuring is and how we can move away from it in our walk. So it says in verse 13 of Philippians chapter 2, "For it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure." And then it goes on to say in verse 14, "Do all things without murmurings and disputings." In verse 15, it goes on to say there that you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation. In other translation, it says generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. So broken down here, the murmurings and disputings shouldn't be happening in the body of Christ, because it says that we are the sons of God who don't or shouldn't be taking part in this kind of behavior in the body of Christ. And if we do take part in this kind of behavior, we can't be seen as lights that shine in a dark world. And it says that we are supposed to be shining in the body of Christ in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation. So if we become crooked and perverse by murmuring and getting involved in these kinds of disputes, then we are not shining as lights in the world. It's really important that we don't take part in murmurings and disputes so that we can shine as lights in this world. The second point is that the devil is the deceiver. There is some evidence out there, as displayed by Mike Winger and Bethel, surrounding the Shawn Bolz situation. But I'm not here to defend Shawn Bolz, but I am here to point out to you who is actually the great deceiver. And the great deceiver of the body of Christ, of the world, is the devil. And it says in Revelations chapter 12 and verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. Now, the devil is the great deceiver. Does he use people? Yes, he does. Does he try to plant his deceptive ways into the minds of people? Yes, he does. His tricks are still the same from the very beginning. Now, we can't be ignorant of the devil's devices. His device and his practical ways of deceiving people are still the same. And his big way here is to bring deception to the body of Christ, to try and separate the body of Christ, to be murmurers and to be focused on all these disputings that are happening surrounding Shawn Bolz. And his main focus is to take our focus away from looking at Jesus. And that brings me on to this final point. Point number 3 is to focus on Jesus. It's not to focus on another person. It's not to focus on Shawn Bolz. It's not to focus on Bill Johnson. It's not to focus on the leadership team of Bethel or any one person, but it is for you to focus on Jesus Christ. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 2 says, looking unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. And it's really important for you to know that you should be looking at Jesus, because Jesus Christ is the very beginner, the author, and the finisher of your faith. Your faith should be entirely focused on him and not any other person, so that in every situation you can be steadfast, you can be encouraged, and you can continue every day as you grow in your relationship with Jesus. You need to grow in your relationship with Jesus. So we want to help you do that. So what we did is we produced a study that will help you to grow and develop in your relationship with Jesus Christ. So you can watch this video next, and that will help you on your journey.